Guys, good afternoon and welcome along. That is 7 minutes past 3 on Monday, the 27th of February 2023, and hopefully we are live on YouTube with the weekly look at the stock market and what's happening there, and of course our weekly investment as part of this roughly 8-year fire simulation journey. I must actually just check. I just had a doubt about what I called the video for today. I know what I should have called it, but I'm not sure if I did. This is week 47. Okay, yeah, we are good. Let's jump back again. I was just having a bit of a look through the headlines that appear on Google News there. I'm not sure how well you would have been able to make them out, but I think it's always interesting for historical perspective to see what was going on at the time, and if you're looking back to particular times in the market, if there is something of significance, it's always interesting to see what was happening at that time. So that was what that was about. A quick look at our let's call them our facts and figures today. Current price for the Vanguard S&P 500, £63.34. Market is open. We would be synced up with the American markets now because they opened at 2:30. So far as I'm aware, let me just double check to make sure. So I'm looking at the S&P 3 times leveraged. Oh no, sorry, that's traded on a London exchange as well, so in fact that's not going to tell me anything about America. Here, why not? Let's just do a Google. It's VUSA is the ticker. There's another SPX actually might give us more of a clue because that's the index. So yeah, you can see that compared to when it opened, it's only been open for just under an hour actually, I think, and you can see the change represented there. So it is open today. So let's jump back to this view of the market. Currently the investment in our hypothetical portfolio is worth 90 shares, currently worth just over 5.7 thousand. Currently only up about 1% on the total invested, and as you can see, looking at these figures at the bottom, really not an awful lot to say about it. In fact, the biggest figure there is the drop. So the price currently is 4.5% lower than it was this time 6 months ago, which presumably would put that about here somewhere, would it? Yeah, because that was the 15th of August, and we're currently in February, or end of February. So that corresponds roughly. Yes, so that, as I say, there's well, I mean, you can see it. I've mentioned it before. It's just a roller coaster there. Very, very little happening. The dollar cost averaging effect today will be to reduce the return, because the price that we're going to be paying is slightly more than average. So let's go ahead and buy our 120 weekly pounds value of the Vanguard S&P 500 shown here on the practice platform for Trading 212. As things stand, I'm not affiliated in any way with Trading 212 other than the fact that it is the platform that I use for my real investments. But they do not currently sponsor or in any way have any input into this channel and these videos. Just to make that perfectly clear, so I want to send the buy order, and I'm hoping that these things will update. I think there was one other time quite recently where the values actually appeared to go down as opposed to up whenever I hit the buy button, but it was just because of the way things had changed in the market at the time. It can happen, no doubt about it. So let's see what we've got here. At this time, 5701.46. Average price 62.65.51. Let's see what happens. So placed and executed. We have updated at the bottom, but we haven't updated up here. So at the bottom we've got portfolio value 5825.01, and we've got a live result 65.01. So really very little difference compared to what is here, and the percentage is going to be affected by an insignificant amount, so there's no point really in refreshing or anything to see that. Some notifications since the last time. Let's see what we have. So that's the purchase that we've just put through. UNP Union Pacific jumps 9% as hedge fund pressures for CEO change. Okay, there must be some discontent there. Commerzbank gains 3.5% after rejoining Germany's primary stock index. Okay, so that sounds as if they are performing well, and obviously they tick all the boxes to qualify to get onto that. Alibaba down 5% amid Chinese price war, geopolitics and inflation concerns. That's interesting because that's the first time I've heard of any impact on the Chinese market that I can remember in relation to the inflation that the rest of Europe and indeed quite a bit of the world appears to be suffering from more recently, particularly as regards an impact from the war in Ukraine. So what else have we got? This looks to be about batteries, possibly EVs, I'm not too sure. Actually they're just the biggest stocks before earnings, so you've got Li or Li Auto, I'm not sure if that's to do with lithium or not. Fubo TV, Viatris, Lending Tree, sounds like a peer-to-peer type thing, may not be. Cosmos Energy, high volatility. Autodesk slides 10% after issuing earnings guidance below analyst estimates. I'm not sure what Autodesk is. I could make a couple of stabs in the dark, but there's no point. Beyond Meat up 28% on earnings beat and new cash flow positive focus. I don't know really whether I should comment on that. I mean, if that is no, actually I'm not going to comment on it because there's a reasonable chance that what I've heard about meat being grown and causing Cancers may not relate to this product or that market. I don't know enough about that business to make that statement, so I'll just leave that. Adobe slips 5% on reports that the Department of Justice may block Figma acquisition deal. So 5%. Okay, I don't know again enough about that to comment on it, but yeah. So that's the state of play as things stand. We're not quite a year in yet, and our portfolio value at the present time is sitting at 5825. That's actually, I mean, that would buy you a nice second-hand car. You know, if you didn't use it for any other purpose, that's a pretty nice sum. Just looking at it like that. In fact, I'm almost wondering, is that right? I mean, can you save up that sort of amount by putting in 120 a week? Let me just run a quick calculation to see. I mean, obviously it's not going to be exact because there's been a 1% rise. I'm laughing because of how little that'll make any difference, but anyway, so this was week 47, didn't we say? 120 times 47, 5640. Okay, so somewhere along the way my numbering is off. Let's add in another 120, 5760. Yeah, so that's basically what we're talking about. That's really quite good. I mean, obviously with a bit of Excel or even just calculating that like that, it's apparent that that's the sort of money that you can save up in not even a year. Well, I say save up. Well, if you were putting it in a bank, you would be saving it. Here we're investing it. And as I say, despite the fact that you probably could get yourself a fairly decent second-hand car for that sort of money, that's not the objective here. The objective is to continue to invest, to allow the portfolio to grow in value, and to buy our freedom. I think that was a question that I had asked in the description for the video. Are we are we buying let me just go to it actually, because yeah, are we investing or are we buying freedom? That was what I had asked as a question. So actually this here is irrelevant. I just had a look at the Google News headlines before going live today, and hopefully these will provide some historical context for the future. So the headlines included, the former Speaker of the House of Commons, Betty Boothroyd, has died. I think it said she was 97. I was quite surprised that she was just as old as that, because, well, quite frankly, I hadn't realised. So there was other stuff as well, obviously stuff about the Ukraine. What else had we? There is talk about some kind of a breakthrough in relation to the Northern Ireland Protocol, or Ursula von der Leyen is supposed to be meeting. I still have difficulty not calling him Prince Charles, but she's supposed to be meeting the King at some point during her visit to London, I believe it is. And I'm going to have a look and see actually just shortly to see what is happening in politics today, because it was billed as being a big day, billed as being a day when things could be resolved, which would see which in time would see the reopening of Stormont, which would be long overdue. And I think the reality is that most people in Northern Ireland, at least, currently do not feel as if we're getting value for money as regards the local assembly. Just in the not too distant past there, we had some new legislation which was actually passed through Parliament, quite simply because Stormont wasn't going to sit, and so as I say, that actually was passed through Parliament, welcomed interestingly enough by some of the Sinn Féin politicians, who obviously at this time do not or will not sit as MPs in Parliament, despite the fact that they do have a mandate to do so. And the other thing that's been in the news in Northern Ireland over the past several days, I think it's since Friday, is the attempted murder. I'm hoping it's still attempted, of a detective chief inspector, I believe he is, in Omagh. He has been named, and the name is on the tip of my tongue, but I'm not going to go ahead and name him here. It's not the place, quite frankly. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how all these things pan out. There's a lot of things up in the air at present as regards Northern Ireland. None of that's really going to be reflected, I suppose, in the stock market, or at least not to any significant extent. Not in the US market anyway. So yeah, just giving some news and current affairs, I suppose, with a view to providing some context for anybody that happens to be looking back at this from the future. Guys, if you find the content interesting or useful or even educational, well, frankly, I would be surprised. But nevertheless, feel free to give the video a like, or thumbs up as it's called. Subscribe if you want to, and if you're really interested in stalking me and knowing when I go live, or when I'm going to go live, if you hit the bell icon, I think you will be notified through your YouTube app. So thanks again for watching. Have a great end to your day, and keep investing.